Now, they tried different people as the Scorpion.
Yeah.
In preparation for this. Randy Cully.
Yeah.
Bill Irwin.
Yeah.
You agree with this strategy of taking it on the road, seeing how it works before it gets to pay-per-view, trying different guys out?
No.
No.
No, why would I agree with that? It's the fucking stupidest thing anybody's ever done. Ole started a fucking murder mystery with a body and no killer. And then by the time he got to the last chapter where they were all gathered in the fucking drawing room, Mr. Mustard didn't have a candlestick because he didn't even have Mr. Mustard. It was fucking stupid. And now poor Ole, and like I said, I've made peace with him, and I love his brutal honesty and his fucking grumpiness, and he was one of the great promos of all time and made a huge amount of money. Ole Anderson was making $250,000 a year in the late 70s in the wrestling business, booking and working on top.
Yeah.
He was, his track record, but in the shape he's in now, I don't know whether he ever remembers what he had in mind for this, and I've never heard an explanation for it, but there was no Black Scorpion. And then they started needing a Black Scorpion, and he thought he was booking fucking, Columbus, Georgia for Fred Ward at that point, and he just put anybody under the goddamn, you couldn't do that anymore. And I don't know why all that happened. It made everybody, including Sting, that it touched, turn to shit.
Blasters.
Man, I got to tell you the Master Blaster story. When were we in Detroit? Detroit at the Cobo Arena. Detroit, Michigan, Saturday night, September 15th. Pillman and Zink beat us. The original Master Blasters. Now, the second partner that Nash had later was Big Al Green.
Yes.
Who Eddie Gilbert had named because of the original Don and Al Green, Big Al Green, But anyway, the first one, I don't know who the fuck he was. I can't remember. What was his working name? I don't even know.
It was
matter.
Steel and Iron. Yeah, it was
okay.
Iron.
We're in the back at the Cobo watching the matches in Detroit, and the Master Blasters are working with Brad Armstrong and Tim Horner. Now, if you cannot work with Brad Armstrong, he could have a fucking 4-star match with a paraplegic. You need to get the fuck away, right? And that's exactly what this guy did. And I wish I could stand up in this environment, but I can't. But we're standing back watching this fucking match. And the guy's in with Brad. And some way he shoots Brad off and he hits the right, and they're supposed to do a spot, but the guy fucked it up. And Brad grabbed him and got a hold and called it again and settled it down, and they go to do, and they fucked up the second spot. And Brad settles it down, and the fucking guy tried again something. And finally, I've never seen this before or since in a wrestling match in front of people. The guy was so over his head, so overwhelmed, so confused about what he was supposed to be doing in the ring that he just turned to Nash and looked at Nash and did this, like, what am I supposed to do? Where you could tell from the back of the Cobo that this guy's going, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. They got out of the match. The fucking guy got dressed and left the building, and the story that I heard, and I have no reason to doubt it, was that he went to the bus station and bought himself a bus ticket to wherever the fuck he came from, and he took that bus and nobody ever saw him again.
Well, I don't even have his name. We don't even know who he was,
No,
right?
we don't know. That's Ole was trying to find anybody that would work cheap, that looked like they had a good body, and put a gimmick on them and throw them out there. And that's what guys like Brad Armstrong and Bobby Eaton and et cetera, were expected to fucking make something out of. But yeah, we all popped in the back because it was so obvious. It was almost like that it was on TV and we could hear the guy say, what am I doing? What do you want from me? Ole's idea, Bobby ran the Gauntlet, which was a match on the Friday night show, match on the Saturday night show, and a match on the Sunday night show. And if you won all three of them, you got some fictitious prize. Ole actually booked Bobby to run the gauntlet against heels as a babyface while he was appearing in the heel team as the Midnight Express. Yes, and even Bobby couldn't get a match out of Sid. Steiner.
Yeah, he does. I think he's the only one to successfully do this.
I think so.
Did they have plans for him to break out as a single here?
Once again, broken clocks right twice a day. Scott had the look, the body, charisma. He was an amateur guy that Ole would get into even as an amateur, and he could legitimately fucking kick somebody's ass. And so, yes, they were definitely going to push him from the start. So, once again, that wasn't a bad idea.
His win over Flair in the Gauntlet match in a non-title setting, is Rick's stock falling, or is this something Rick would offer to help get Scott over?
I wasn't in the meeting. Possibly a little of both. Is all I can say, because I think Flair always at that point liked Scotty, and Ole, was probably going to do what Hurd was trying to figure any way he could to bury Flair, marginalize Flair. So he would have been all for that. And that on September 10th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.